is that an abundance mindset is one that flows out of a deep sense of personal worth and security. It's a belief that there is more than enough for everybody. And this is where life becomes full and we're able to dream. Hey, Empowered Vegan Lifers. This is Ella, and I'm here with my co-host, Stephanie. How's it going, Stephanie?
Hey, Ella. How are you?
I'm doing pretty damn good today. How are you?
I'm doing great. Good. Excited about this topic today.
Me too. And I don't know about you, but I kind of want to just jump right in today. Is that cool?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. Yes, because our topic today is abundance mindset versus scarcity mindset. And this is something that is so personal to us and to a lot of our clients. And I'm guessing it's personal to a lot of you Empowered Vegan Lifers listening right now. So yes, very excited.
Yeah, me too. So I think we should do something just a little different today. Let's play a little game. And I know. And so it's a great psychology game too. So this will be really good. And listeners, play along with us. I'm going to say a word, and I want you to say the first thing that pops into your head. Ready?
Okay.
Okay. All right. First one. Comfort zone.
Stagnant.
Nice. Money.
Energy.
Okay. Success.
Freedom.
Sharing.
Caring.
And last one. Focus.
In the moment.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's interesting. Those are some good ones, Stephanie. And I think, thinking about it right now, my answers 4 or 5 years ago would have been a lot different. I've just learned so much about inviting abundance into my life. And, where it all turned. Can I tell that story?
Yeah, do. It's really impactful.
Yeah. It's big. Well, first of all, I grew up in a log cabin, and we didn't even have indoor plumbing. I was potty trained in an outhouse. Yes, an outhouse, meaning outside the house. So, we did not grow up with much. So money was always an issue, growing up. And I definitely, when I went into my 20s and, had started supporting myself, it was always something that was a cause for a lot of anxiety for me. And becoming a personal trainer, it's not the most lucrative job. It just isn't. And it's constantly like, when am I going to get my next client, or how many sessions that I'm going to get? So there's just all this talk about that. And then me thinking about my future. Okay, well, what am I going to do later? What am I going to do when I want to retire? I don't want to be a fitness instructor for the rest of my life. I want to do the vegan thing, but not enough people are interested in the vegan thing. And all of this scarcity was just consuming. It really was all consuming. And I got in debt. I was in debt from the time I got my first credit card at the age of 18 until just a couple years ago. And actually just a year ago, to be honest with you. And so for about 4 years ago, here's where things all started to shift. Amanda found me on Google and hired me as her personal trainer. She was looking for a vegan personal trainer to help her with exercise and nutrition. And she came to my house where I was training her out of. And she would come, and I was charging. I'm in Miami Beach. I was charging a premium. I'd been an instructor for a very long time. It was $100 an hour, which is, I think, a pretty good rate. And one day she said to me, Ella, have you ever thought you're charging too little? And first of all, that made me laugh, and my jaw kind of dropped because who talks about paying too little when they're the ones paying? I can quite understand that. She's like, look, you got a book out and you're doing like time for money, a session for money. And I can't imagine you're doing that well. And I was like, well, thanks, but actually, you're right. So, well, it turned out that Amanda was also a business coach and somewhat of a life coach, kind of a combination of the two. And she said, do you want to do your own online coaching program? Is that something that would interest you? And I was like, hell yes, I want to do it. I want it to be vegan. I want it to be vegan, fitness, healthy, related. I could do that in no time. This is so exciting. I got really, really excited. She's like, well, I can help you do that. I can help you be successful at that. And then she said, it's just $2,500. And for me at that time, I was like, okay, that just can't happen. I'm already in so much debt. I barely got room on my credit card. If I got room on my credit card, this is scary. I don't know when the money's coming back to me. And I thought about it though, and she kind of helped me talk it out. And I said, if not now, when? If not now, when? Mm-hmm. It's time for me to take this leap. This is an opportunity that I have got to go all in.
Yeah.
And I did. And I paid her $2,500. I'm sure she's like triple that now because she was phenomenal. She helped me, and when I do something, I do it. So I went right into it within 8 weeks, you guys. I had created the 6-week at the time Plant Power Coaching Program. I had clients already in it, and I was making more than I'd ever made. And I was able to quit my personal training, which was my goal for many, many years previous to that. Was able to quit my personal training in 8 weeks. And it was all because I said, I am not going to let scarcity keep me down any longer. And that was just the start. But what it did, and what I look back on, and what I talk to people about who are questioning making an investment in themselves, is I don't know where I'd be if I didn't do that. And I get to live my days now doing exactly what I want to do. I get to live my passion. I get to live my purpose. And I am grateful each and every day, every time I wake up in the morning and get to get out of bed to do what I do, because I made that one choice. As scared as I was, is the most, there are no words to describe how thankful I am to her and to myself, and how much I want to help others be able to make that kind of investment in themselves at the same time.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It makes so much sense. And it's just such a perfect example of what we're talking about today, because you took that leap, because you changed in that moment, really, from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. Everything just keeps on growing. I mean, you have invited so much into your personal life, but look at all of the lives you've affected and invited so much into their lives. And this is really, really what we're talking about today. So, okay, so I want to give credit where credit's due. The late Steven Covey coined the term scarcity mindset and abundance mindset. And although this is not a new concept and wasn't at the time, but those are his words. And just so we're all on the same page, people who operate from a scarcity mindset believe that there's never enough. They really see life as having a finite amount of everything: money, success, love, recognition, that there's only so much in the world, and you've got to grab what you can grab and hold on to it. So it's as if life was a pie, and if the person sitting beside you gets a bigger piece of the pie, then you might not get dessert. And so, you try to cling to everything you've got. You're afraid at some point that you're just going to come up short if you're sharing with others. So that's the scarcity mindset.
Yes, and it breeds competition, not cooperation.
Yes.
And when we cooperate, when we work together, when humans work together with nature, with animals, with the environment, everyone can thrive.
Yeah.
We don't have to live in that competition, that scarcity mindset, because when you have a scarcity mindset, thoughts and actions come from a place of lack. And when it's time to make decisions, fear and paranoia set in, and it's very difficult to make positive life decisions from that place that are going to help you live your best life, that are going to help you reach your true potential. And when you're living in that space of scarcity, you create feelings of jealousy, stress, anxiety, because you're constantly comparing yourself to those around you and living in fear of the unknown.
Yeah, and I think this is a really common experience. I know I feel like I have lived from a scarcity mindset for most of my life, still do at times. And honestly, that mindset has led to some of the most costly decisions of my life, not to mention years and years of unhappiness. And I think when we come from that place of scarcity, we're really very short-sighted, only looking at the short term rather than investing in our long-term happiness.
Exactly. It's like you can only look at what's right in front of you for fear of there not being another option. So it's tunnel vision, right? You eat the chocolate cake because there may never be another chance to eat the chocolate cake.
Right.
I know one thing you talk about with people, and what's something that's helped our clients, is to just take a step back, take that, what we call the power pause, and say, wait a minute, it's not now or never. I can eat leftovers later. I do not need to eat this whole piece of cake. But when we're in it, it's hard to take that pause and to think about that. It's like you got to finish it or you're not going to have it again.
Right? Yeah.
And you settle for a less than ideal relationship, as an example, because you may not have another choice or another chance to love.
Yeah.
You choose the quick diet program, the quick fix route, rather than the long-term investment in your health and wellness. Again, out of fear that people aren't going to like you if you stay that way. Fear of, not being successful. You want to get it done right away. And then what happens? We go into that whole loop, that whole cycle of self-sabotage and the yo-yo dieting and the weight cycling.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's talk about the flip side, and that's the abundance mindset. So Ella, tell me your conception of abundance mindset.
Well, the way I see it is that an abundance mindset is one that flows out of a deep sense of personal worth and security. It's a belief that there is more than enough for everybody. And this is where life becomes full and we're able to dream and to think big. Yeah. Abundance creates freedom. And we talk so much about freedom. And it's such a powerful place to be.
Yeah. And you saw this and you, I mean, that story so beautifully illustrates when you took that long-term sight and made that decision out of abundance, that there was more for you, there's more for everyone out there, then things really changed for you.
Yeah, and I have to say, even before that, I had started Sexy Fit Vegan, started my brand without a thought about how I was ever going to make money at it. I just wanted to get the word out there. It was something I was passionate about. I knew there would be a business for me. So I guess if I think about it, that was a source of abundance that I came out of, in just saying, hey, I'm going to go for this. I don't know what it's going to do, but I know it's going to come back to me if I go for it. Yeah. And I think that's along the same lines. And when I made that investment in the business coaching, I didn't think, what if? I said just how and when. Yeah. Those were my only questions, how and when. And I think that shift in our mindset, and for sometimes it does happen within a month, that something amazing opens up, but sometimes it takes longer, right? And so that's something to keep in mind too. We're this culture of wanting, quick results, and it doesn't always work like that. But if we have that vision and we have that determination and that unquestionable mindset, and when those thoughts of doubt creep in, we're able to say, hey, I see you thoughts, but you're not correct, right? You're incorrect.
Right. Exactly.
Here are the thoughts that are correct. And I'm going to have to create those, and I'm going to have to learn to believe them. But once you do, those become your core beliefs and there is no stopping you.
Right. Right. I love that. I love that.
Yeah. And what about you, Stephanie? You invested in coaching as well.
I did. I invested in coaching with you, and it really has changed my life in so many ways. And I can really remember the moment when, and I had put in all this work, and it was definitely a long-term, not a quick fix, but I can remember that moment of freedom. And we've talked about this a lot because there's so much that's involved in this moment. But I remember you had sent me a picture of you doing a handstand, because that's your thing. You do handstands everywhere.
It is.
And you had done this handstand on this beach, and it was gorgeous. I mean, it was just this perfect picture. And of course, you are just physically, you're just beautiful. You're beautiful to look at, and doing this and having your body do this. And I looked at it and I was just appreciative of this picture. Like, I was looking at it and thinking how gorgeous this picture was. And it just snapped for me. And it was like, I can appreciate my bestie looking beautiful in a picture just as she is, and taking nothing away from myself, not comparing myself, not saying, oh my gosh, I wish I could do a handstand, not, oh my gosh, I wish my arms looked like that. That didn't even enter my mind until I started really analyzing my reaction. And this really was a growth from that scarcity mindset, where if I had people in my circle that are beautiful, that would somehow take away from my own beauty. And that was just such a big turning point, both in my body image, because at that point I believed I was worthy. And that's where it all grew from there, that abundance mindset, that just because someone has something doesn't mean I can't have it too. And it was an amazing moment of freedom for me.
What a great illustration. And I remember you telling me about that moment after it happened, and it was a huge breakthrough. And
huge.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times when we talk abundance, people automatically, we think about money, but abundance of everything. I mean, love, yes, money, relationships, what else? Abundance of anything and everything that we need in our lives. Notice all the good in your life. When you find that place of gratitude, you really can't help but to feel abundant.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah, and I'm sure you, Stephanie, might have some strategies, queen of strategies here. Do you mind sharing some things for our listeners?
On this road? Absolutely. I have today, and you actually segued right into the first one, but I have 3 ways to start yourself on your road to developing an abundance mindset. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. All right.
I'm so ready.
Let's do it.
I'm ready.
Okay. Let's get to it. All right. So the first one is exactly what you just said. The first is to focus on what you have. There is no quicker path away from scarcity than gratitude. When you focus on the things that you are most grateful for in your life, you naturally pull yourself out of the scarcity mindset. And to show gratitude is to appreciate. And the word appreciate literally means increase in value. So this actually creates the abundance out of that gratitude. So that's number 1.
Awesome. Yes. And I guess I did segue into that. I didn't.
You did. It was perfect.
And so you say the first is to focus on what you have. How do we go about doing that? Because it's so easy to get wrapped up in our lives every day and forget.
Yeah. So I think a really practical way to do this is to start a gratitude journal and just set aside that time, and you can set yourself even a number. Say, okay, every day I'm going to start my day by writing down 5 things that I'm really, really grateful for. So that can be one way. Another way is to really bring yourself into the moment. And especially when you're feeling those feelings of anxiety and lack and fear, bring yourself into the moment by getting into your five senses and really focus on the gratitude for those five senses. I am grateful for the rose bush that I'm seeing right now. I am grateful for my children laughing in the background. I am grateful for the wonderful smell of bread baking. I mean, just go through the five. So bring yourself into the moment. Be very, very mindful of what's around you and focus on those things that you're grateful for right there and then.
Awesome. Love it. Okay. Number 2. Are we on 2?
Okay. Yep. Number 2. Look for the opportunity in life circumstances. When we're thrown curveballs in life, the temptation is to come at it from a scarcity perspective. You know, why is this happening to me? Why don't I ever get ahead? And there really is another way to look at circumstances, and that's where is the opportunity. What can I learn from this? Rather than, why is this always happening for me? And this really leads directly to abundance by producing growth and development by looking for that opportunity. And I think we can really look at all of this as an example of what's going on in the world right now. There are opportunities to be found. As difficult as our emotional situation is, as difficult as our circumstances are right now. So for example, through COVID, it's a terrible virus and it has caused much destruction, many deaths. Even in that, we can choose to look for opportunities, such as a slower pace of life, being able to reorganize our priorities, and even a very chance to examine the vegan diet as the healthiest life choice due to the source of the virus. You know, so it's even opening up global opportunities to look at things. Looking at the protests right now, the protests are allowing us an opportunity to have very, very difficult conversations about racism, really getting very specific about becoming anti-racist, not bystanders, and developing new systems that grow out of that awareness interaction. That's the abundance mindset, is looking for that opportunity.
Yes, exactly. And when you look for the opportunity, you're opening up to all the possibilities rather than focusing on the closed door.
Yeah.
Right? Living in possibility.
Yes.
I love that saying. I'm going to
that.
live in possibility. And when we say opportunity, I think, I don't know about you, but sometimes I think of people that say you have to be positive all the time, right?
Yeah.
This is not what we're talking about here.
No.
This is tough stuff we're going through. And when we have to look for the opportunity, it means we're going through something that's really tough. And it's okay to have those emotions, those negative emotions, because that's part of living. That's part of experiencing and having the full human experience, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we can embrace that and look for the opportunity. And example with the COVID, man, my boyfriend, Christian, he got COVID. He was stuck inside alone for a month, right? And he's super extroverted. So this was really tough. And before that, he was going every day, super stressed, super anxious about, getting in all the work he needed to get in. And all of a sudden, he wasn't able to work. And do you know what came out of that? I think the business that he created during that time, which I kind of encouraged him to do, but we're very similar in that way. Once he decides to do something, he's going to do it. And right. I think it's blowing up, and it might change the trajectory of his entire life, our entire life, and our relationship blossomed out of it too. We got some clarity having to be separate for that long about what our needs are, and kind of reevaluate and be able to communicate about that and strengthen and grow our relationship. So we have to thank the Rona for that one.
Thank the Rona.
Thanks, Rona.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I don't think either one of us is a member in the cult of positivity. You know, we really do meet our lives and look at reality as it is. And all of that you experienced with Christian, that was tough work. It was, you know, it wasn't the happiest time of your life, but you were always focused on that opportunity. You were always focused on what you can learn and how you can improve that relationship. It's wonderful.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. We're on to number 3 and final.
All right. Number 3, finally, develop the belief that you are enough. And I think this is probably the most challenging, but also the most impactful when moving from scarcity to abundance. You know, so many of us struggle with our self-worth, and that belief that we're not enough really comes from very, very deeply ingrained systems. And generally, we're just not very conscious of them, if we're conscious of them at all. So, listeners, I challenge you to bring it into your awareness. When you find yourself comparing yourself to others or questioning if you're deserving, take a step back and view these thoughts with a lot of compassion and a lot of curiosity, and then challenge them. Explore the feelings of unworthiness that are attached to those beliefs. I am not going to sugarcoat it. Changing this type of core belief takes a lot of work. It requires an investment in yourself. You know, just like you were saying, Ella, in order for you to turn your scarcity to abundance, you had to suspend your belief system for just a little bit and make that investment in your own development through choosing to work with a coach. And tell me, have you ever regretted that decision? I mean, do you ever actually think about the money you spent in terms of needing that money now that you've already spent it? Like, do you say, oh my gosh, I need $2,500. I wish I hadn't given that to Amanda. Or do you think about the hours that you spent really working on yourself and wishing you had those hours back now that you're busy and that you're forming this new membership? You're like, oh my gosh, I wish I didn't invest in all of that time that I spent working on myself.
Hell no. Hell no. That was honestly, it was a decision that might have been one of the best decisions I've ever made in my entire life. And it was one of the scariest as well. And now looking at it, I'm like, it was just $2,500. That's where I'm at now, you know, but back then I was like, this is huge, you know? And so everything changed from there. Everything.
Yeah.
Yep. Won't regret a second of it. Yeah.
You got so much back on your return. And really that started from, you know, believing you're enough to invest in that. You know, an entirely new belief system was born for abundance in your life, which led to that freedom, led to the knowledge that not only is there enough to go around, but that you are enough. You are worthy. You're worthy of all that abundance.
Yes, and we see it in the people that go through our program, and we're going to see a lot more of it with people that are going to go through this membership program, because we're going to have a lot more people in that. And, you know, I just think about people like Dawn, who got the courage to not only invest in our program, but afterwards, by operating from a place of abundance, she basically kind of finagled a whole new career path for herself. And it kind of opened up, and she's happier, she's more fulfilled, and definitely wealthier financially because of it. And we've just had so many clients, you know, actually get the courage to launch their own businesses. That's just one thing. Find relationships with people that they only dreamed about before.
Yeah.
And you know what? A lot of those people that have gone through our program, it was a big deal. It was a very, very big deal for them to put that money together to get in. And we've had people, single moms, living with their parents, who found a way. You know? And I want to acknowledge all those people who found a way, because they knew that if not now, when?
Yeah.
There really is a way. There is always a way.
Yeah.
And it might be really tough. But we do our best to also help people figure out that way. Because what's ahead is just something that it's not even comprehensible when you're in that place of scarcity sometimes. So that's what we do. We help people have that vision and get the confidence they need to work through the fear that's keeping them from, I don't want to say pulling the trigger, but from what's a better word for that? Not a good word. Get them to, is there another phrase for that?
Jump.
Get them to jump, not just dip their toe in the water.
Not just dip their toe in the water.
Dive right in.
Dive right in. Jump.
Yes. All right. Well, I think that was good, right?
I think it was good.
I think it was good. What do you guys think?
Now I want to sing a Van Halen song just to commemorate the moment,
Well, I'm waiting.
I won't.
Fine.
I shouldn't.
Fine.
But
speaking of that, we love getting your feedback, you guys.
Yeah.
We got feedback from people in the program and continually worked really hard. This is for you. We're doing this for you. So if there are things that would help us help you through this podcast, we want to know. And we look at every email that comes in. My email is ella@sexyfitvegan.com. And please email. And we share in the Empowered Vegan Life group that we have on Facebook, which is just a beautiful community of over 5,000 people. We'll put the link in the show notes. This is a community. I consider it a family. We've got such an amazing group of people connected through this podcast. And that's going to do it for us today. That is a wrap. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and use the share feature to invite all the people you care about to listen to. Until next time.
Until next time.